What's going on, everyone? So, we got news that Gabe Vincent, Cam Reddish, and Jalen Hood Schifino expected to be ready at the start of training camp. So, while Wood underwent surgery last week and Vanderbilt's foot is still not 100%, sources confirmed to ESPN Vincent, Reddish, and Hood Schifino will be ready to compete for minutes from the start, giving Reddick more options. Now, I want to talk about specifically Jalen Hood Schifino because obviously, we know Gabe Vincent and we knew Cam Reddish were both healthy already, and I've already dove into them and spoken on them. Jalen Hood Schifino is kind of the big question mark, right? Because Jalen Hood Schifino is the player in which we know so little about. I know a lot of people think that, he is a bust and he's this and he's trash. I don't know how you come to that conclusion when you're talking about a player that never got an opportunity to actually play any real meaningful minutes, right? You talk about a guy that played in nothing but garbage time. I mean, he averaged, with the Lakers last year, 5.2 minutes per game. And he only played in 21 games. How can anybody, I don't care who it is, I mean, you could put LeBron and give LeBron 5 minutes a game and see what the impact is that he has. How do you know what Jalen Hood Schifino can truly give you when he doesn't get the opportunity or even consistency to know? Right? I mean, the idea of Jalen Hood Schifino makes a ton of sense, right? Sizable guard. They can play either guard spot. I mean, you could even slot him in at the 3 on occasion if you needed to, because he's 6'6" in size, but got athleticism, can apply some rim pressure, make some plays. Obviously, he needs improvement. Obviously, he's a project. But all we heard last training camp was that Jalen Hood Schifino was the one guy that stood out. I mean, everybody, the coach, LeBron, Davis, all of them, Austin Reeves, all of them talked about how good Jalen Hood Schifino was in training camp. And we just never got to see it, right? But the only thing we have to go off of is the G League, in which he was just better than everybody in the G League. Now, look, I understand it's the G League. I understand there's a big difference between the G League and the NBA. But it's a good sign that your 20-year-old rookie is better than everybody in the G League. And for those that are wondering, really, was he better? Yeah, he averaged 22 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists in the G League. And he shot like 43% from three-point range. The guy did everything you could ask for. The guy was excellent in the G League. Again, it's the G League. I understand it's the G League. It's hard to really, know how well. We've seen plenty of guys look great in the G League and not translate to the NBA. I don't think that will be the case with Jalen Hood Schifino. Now, the real question is, what type of playing time and who does he play over is the question, right? Because you got D'Angelo Russell, you got Gabe Vincent, and then even at the 2, you got Austin Reeves and you got Max Christie. So I don't know how much Jalen Schifino will get to play unless the Lakers pull off some type of trade. Obviously, if they do, a Zach LaVine or a Jeremy Grant trade or something where, Gabe Vincent is in the deal, then yeah, at that point, I think Jalen Schifino may end up getting a real opportunity. I think, he may end up getting 20-plus minutes a game, and he might need to deliver on that. But it is one of those things where you just throw his feet into the fire. Let him sink or swim. I've talked about that with several other guys, right? The Lakers want to develop guys, and Lakers want to be this premier program to develop guys. At some point, you got to throw these guys into the fire and let them either burn or find a way out, right? Throw them into the deep end, let them sink or swim. And, if the Lakers pull off a trade, which, as of right now, it's not looking super great, but a lot of time between now and the trade deadline. There's still a lot of time between now and training camp, right? So Jalen Schifino may end up getting a real opportunity. Lakers might even wait to see, what does Hood look like? Does Jalen Hood Schifino look ready? Does he look like a guy that can make some noise? Because we didn't get to see him in Summer League because he was injured, right? So we didn't get the opportunity to really gauge and see, okay, is this a guy that clearly has the improvements, right? You look at Max Christie, right? Rookie year, all right, got some promise, right? But also he averaged 13 minutes a game his rookie season. Just for those that are Max Christie showed promise his rookie year. Well, again, he averaged 3 times the amount of minutes, right? I mean, his rookie season, he averaged 12 and a half minutes in 41 games. So he played 20 more games, actually got 3 starts, and played an average of 12 and a half minutes per game. He also got more field goal attempts, all of it, right? Like, so again, it's easier to say, like, oh, well, Max Christie look good. But the reason I bring up Max Christie is because you look at year 1 to year 2 in Summer League, and he was just better than everyone in Summer League, and it was like, okay, he's clearly making strides, clearly making improvements. This guy's going to be a real player in this league, right? He could be a real piece. And then Darvin Ham just, like, refused to play him, even when we desperately needed him, right? Darvin Ham just would rather play Taurean Prince 40 minutes a game. I don't know, make it make sense. But nonetheless, you're seeing Max Christie is expected to play a big role. He's supposed to get heavy minutes going forward this season, right? And right now, I don't see a scenario where Jalen Schifino gets any real consistent minutes, right? Like, again, could you throw him out there at times at the 3 and kind of have him, D'Lo, and Reeves? Sure. But then you're probably better off going Max Christie, although Jalen Schifino's got more size, right? I think it really also depends on Jalen Schifino's defense. What does he look like defensively, right? As well as his shooting. If he's shooting at not even like 40%, if he's shooting at, say, 37, 38% from 3-point range, right, then, and he can play some real defense and defend essentially 1 through 3, then I think you'll have to find him minutes. I think you'll have to get him minutes. But if he's like, 32% from 3 and having his struggles staying in front of guys, then I definitely don't think he's going to get real meaningful minutes, right? That doesn't mean that he'll be bad, doesn't mean he'll be a bust, but, is he ready yet? You got to keep in mind, he's 21 years old, right? He's still 3 years younger than Dalton Connect even, right? Like, so you could spend 2 more years developing this guy and be fine, right? Like, I've talked about Colin Castleton, right? And, how his age, and it's like, how long are you going to develop him for? But it's because, again, he's 24. That 3 years is a big difference. I mean, when you're talking NBA years, you're talking essentially dog years, right? You're talking about, every year might as well be 7. The average career only lasts 2 years, right? So, again, like, Jalen Hood Schifino being so young, he has that advantage to where you can kind of take your time developing him. But again, like, development is fine and dandy. At some point, you got to throw them to the wolves. And it usually takes a year or 2 for guys to really find their stride, to really find their place in the league, right? Because it is still, you gotta get used to the pace and the physicality and, the offensive structures and actions and defensive structures and actions and where to be slotted on the court and this, that, and the other. There's so many elements that go into the NBA that you just don't get anywhere else. You can't replicate that. You can run scrimmages. You can go in training camp. You can do this, that, and the other. You cannot replicate actual NBA action. You can't. So at some point, you got to throw Jalen Schifino out there. The only way I really see him getting real meaningful minutes is if a trade happens and we kind of need him to step in a role, or he's just that good, right? Like, he's busting everyone up in training camp again. He's showing promise. He's knocking down the 3 ball. He's locking down defensively. And then you also kind of see what he does in preseason. And he's doing the same thing in preseason. He's busting people up and he's, looking great. And, he has that explosive game. And it's like, okay, well, let's see what he does in the regular season. And you kind of throw him out there. Like, it's going to be up to him, right? And how far along as he came in the last year. But the question also, the other concern is he also hasn't really gotten to work out and prep and do the things that he needs to do because he was dealing with and rehabbing that injury all off season, right? So is he in the shape that he needs to be? Has he been able to work on his shot enough? Has he been able to work on just his lateral quickness and agility and stuff to the way that you need to, right? He might not be able to really do that. He might just have been kind of, he's been working out and doing stuff. Like, there's been, like, photos and stuff of him, like, getting shots up and stuff, but it's not the same thing as, like, intense workouts, intense training, doing drills working on your strength and conditioning, all that stuff, right? Like, how much has he been able to do? You know, or is he just kind of now getting to the swing of things and he's looking to kind of ramp up between now and training camp, and then obviously get into training camp, because, you know, we're like 2.5, 3 weeks out of training camp. I think, training camp opens for teams on October, I think it's October 4th, off the top of my head. Might be a little wrong on that day, but it's around that time. So got to imagine that he might even have to get in the swing of things. But I don't know. I'm excited for Jalen Schifino. I still believe in Jalen Schifino. I actually think he has a real opportunity to be a real player for the Lakers at some point. You know, is that this season? I don't know. I would rooting for it, because look, the better guys are, the better the Lakers are, right? You can get a guy in Jalen Hood Schifino, and he comes out and he's game busters and he's just dominating out there on both sides of the ball. That's good for the Lakers, right? That's very good for the Lakers. So we'll see. Time will tell. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think, like, yeah, like, it's good, Jalen Schifino's back? I mean, at the end of the day, it's another body, which is good. We need that, right? So, the healthier we are, the better we are. But how do you feel? Again, whatever it is, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.